Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Felim Meade is my name, whatever you hear, and I'm here to talk about loyalty and innovation. And it links in a little bit what Sarah and Niall were talking about this morning, about digital wallets and cashless payments. And that's really what we've created here, but we've created a mechanism of payment, the digital wallet and the cashless, linked around a loyalty. And what we're trying to do is try to build brand awareness and obviously drive sales. What we've introduced and what I'm going to talk to you today is really the first phase of a multi-phase and a multi-channel approach, because as a restaurant, you sort of think to yourself, okay, well, we're mainly in shopping centers as well, and we're the customers normally would not come into us necessarily as a destination. They would be in the shopping center, and they would be coming into us then for their coffees or their teas or their meals and all the rest. So I wanted to try to put something in place that would actually make us a destination and try to increase sales, increase a new revenue channel, and all of that was linked around the innovation and the loyalty card, or the loyalty system. So this is us. We were established in 1968. We currently have 4 stores. When I first started on this journey of looking at the loyalty, we actually had 10 stores, but we've downsized a little bit now, and we're actually going to start upsizing a little bit later on during the year. We currently employ 50 people. Most of our stores are in the Greater Dublin area. Our customer base is sort of 35 up to, I've been generous here saying 70 plus, but it goes on into the 80 plus. 75% of our customers are female, and it's where we are located, it's it's a very local customers, and that the customers that come into us come in maybe 3, 4, 5 times a week. And in some of the cases where we've actually closed to do refits, we've actually had people come in and get their meals for 7 days to take them home while we're closed. So that's the kind of local business that we're involved in. So a number of years ago, we looked at, I'm sure everyone here has either put in a loyalty card system or they've actually thought about putting in a loyalty card system. And a number of years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, we looked at putting in a loyalty card system, but I wasn't 100% sure whether our actual customers wanted to do it. I was kind of unsure of what systems to go with and all the rest. So what we actually did to start off with was we just tested a coupon-based system, like you see in every coffee shop. So basically, on one side, we had buy 6 breakfasts, get the 7th free, and on the reverse side, it was buy 6 main meals and get the 7th free. We put it into the business, and the feedback was phenomenal. The customers just, no pun intended, ate it all up. They went for it, and they took to it with such a gusto that it took us so much by surprise. And then we left it in for a year, and then when we took it away, the customers were really, really disappointed, and they were saying, when are you actually going to do a loyalty card? When are you going to start doing something? So what we actually took from that learning is that it was too an aggressive a discount. We couldn't continue that. We were just eating into our margin all the time. And also too, with the actual standard punch card, is that there was no way of communicating with the customer. You were just handing it out, and basically, people were stamping on it, but there was no way engaging with the customers and stuff like that. But what it did say to me was that the actual customers loved it, and they wanted more of it. So this got me thinking. It sort of said, okay, loyalty, our customers, it does work. What are we actually going to do? And I sort of said, okay. I started talking to other retailers, and at the retail retreat, not this year, last year in Kilkenny, there was a presentation on loyalty cards. And what a lot of the retailers were saying was that the traditional view of a loyalty card is that it actually rewards your existing customers, and you might build up a little bit of a database of your customers through email or through telephone. You might build a bit of brand awareness. And there is some anecdotal evidence too, to some retailers, is that like a loyal customer who's fully engaged in the loyalty card was actually going to spend more money. So that's really, they'd be sort of, and sorry also too, is that by a loyalty card obviously gives a customer an excuse to actually to come into your store. So that they're engaging with you to sign up and to start up, so that they're more likely to come to you than to someone else. So they would be the more traditional views I found just from talking to retailers of what a loyalty scheme was all about. But I said to myself, that just didn't sit with me. I sort of said, I just don't want to put in a loyalty scheme that basically was just rewarding your existing customers and all the rest. What I wanted to try to do is that I actually wanted to try to create a new revenue stream. I wanted to try to increase sales, and I wanted to try to attract new customers into the business. So I said to myself, okay, how can I do that? So it has to be through digital, it has to be through sort of more through technology, through innovation, and also through social media. So if you can see that this is kind of a diametrical representation, the loyalty is actually at the center of what I'm trying to do. The technology was the NFC, the innovation was the digital wallet, social media, all of that linked around the loyalty, I'm convinced is actually going to try to drive new customers, sales, and new channels. And as I said, what I'm going to talk to you about today about what we've actually put in just 2 weeks ago is only the first of 3 phases, 3 or 4 phases of actually trying to get new customer sales and a new revenue channel. So most tills that all of you have in the business you could probably set up a loyalty card tomorrow. It's very, very simple. You have your swipe card. All of the systems are there in place and all the rest. I wanted, as I said, something that was going to embrace the technology, that was going to bring on the new revenue channels. I also wanted a little bit something that I needed hand-holding. I just didn't want to go with a till provider that sort of says, oh yeah, of course, here's a smart card and you can use your swipe card or you can use your barcode or whatever like that. I wanted something that was actually going to be, as I said, innovative and a bit different. And I wanted someone who was actually going to handhold me a little bit. So simple little things about the terms and conditions, about what you put on the print. And I just didn't want to get tripped up on all of those sort of things. So it was actually during the summer last year that I had the eureka moment. I've been looking and I've been seeing what was out there. Everyone was talking about digital wallets, or when you go on the threads online, NFC was being talked about and all the rest, but it wasn't really being done anywhere. And it was when I saw the Olympics last year, that's when I had the eureka moment. And what really happened there is that every single athlete last year was given an Samsung S3 phone, and they had partnered up, Samsung and Visa had partnered up, where £100 was loaded onto every S3, an app was on the phone, every reader at the till in the Olympic Village had a little reader which had been pre-programmed. So basically all of the athletes had to do is they had to come down, they had to tap their phone, and basically the money was deducted from their preloaded phone, and away they went. So at that stage I said, great, the technology exists. It's being done within the Olympic Village, but no one had actually done it in a live environment. So the technology was now there, but no one had brought it on to the next stage. So I said to myself, okay, this is what I want to go with. I want to go with a digital wallet. I want to use NFC technology, near-field communication technology. But I wanted to also then make sure that I was going to have a loyalty scheme that was relevant to the customer. So I started looking, for instance, like Starbucks, that you could preload money onto your Starbucks. So if you were traveling between here or the UK or up north and all the rest, you could load money here, you could use it up north, you could use it in the UK. Started looking at, that actually should say Costa, not costs. It's basically where you could actually, the registration was done, you take your card, you go home, you register at home, you register away from the store. You looked at Boots, for instance, they were, if you've forgotten your card, and a lot of people who have put in the loyalty scheme, when I've talked to them now, they're sort of saying that is one of the key problems with loyalty cards at the moment, is that you lose their cards, or the customers aren't bringing their cards with them. And this system that I'm going to show you to actually gets over that, because it puts all of your loyalty cards onto one place, and that's your phone. And I think everyone realizes that you're not going to leave your phone at home. You might change bags, you might change wallets, you mightn't have your card with you, but you're not going to leave your phone at home. So this system allows you to put all of your loyalty schemes into one place, and that's on your phone. And obviously what Boots were doing was that they were allowed you that if you'd forgotten your card, you could put, if you came in again with your receipt, you could put it back onto your loyalty card. So I began to look at, I knew that NFC was there, I knew that it worked, I knew that the digital wallet was there, I knew it worked in a closed environment. I wanted to see what the other sort of the market was doing. So what happened then in January of this year, as I said, I found a company called Escher, who are a Dublin-based company, and they're listed on the UK stock market. And what their business is that when you go into a post office here in the UK, in Malaysia, America, Germany, and Belgium, when you go to get your social welfare or pay a utility bill, their software controls it's basically their software that links up the merchant service, the utility company, and the post office. So that's what their business was. So last year they set up a division in Ireland solely just looking at loyalty cards. I found out about them and I approached them and I sort of said, look, this is my vision. I want to introduce this NFC digital wallet into the Irish marketplace. they sort of said, you're probably about a year and a half off, as Sarah was saying about the Google digital wallet. They're sort of saying, yeah, it's about a year and a half off. They're trying to do stuff with Visa and MasterCard and all that sort of stuff. And that's what Escher were saying too. And I sort of said, well, look, we want to do something. Will you partner with us and will you do it? So they went away and thought. In February, they came back and said, yeah, we're going to do it. You're small enough. We'll put something on. It'll be worthwhile doing this. So, so between the jigs and the reels, we worked out the whole process. And basically, on the 9th of July, we actually launched Europe's first NFC digital wallet. And this is it. So it's the ELSA privilege card. So like everything, you earn 5 points. You get bonus points. So for every 9th coffee you buy, you get the 10th free. For every 9th meal, you get the 10th free. Rather than doing 1 and 6, we're now doing getting the 10th one free. And obviously then the start of the money, the digital wallet. So for what we're doing as an introductory offer, it's asterisked and on the terms and conditions, it's for the first 6 months. But we can extend or improve the offer as time being. Is that customers, when they sign up, they can either sign up by 2 ways. They can either sign up and get a card, or they can download the app. You download the app, you put in your name, and you put in your email, and you put in your password. It's a virtual cloud-based account. So if you lose your money or if you lose your card, you haven't lost your money and you haven't lost your points. It's basically, again, within the terms and conditions, we've said that if people cancel it within 24 hours, we'll honor the money and the points that you've already earned. The system too is not linked to the SIM and it's not linked to a merchant service. So there's no fees that we pay to merchant service, and all the money that the customer puts in is theirs. So it's also not tied up to a network. So it's an open service, it's an open system. So again, we're not restricted with any of the networks, and we're not restricted with the MasterCard or Visa card and anything like this. So this is basically like your own cloud-based account that's up there in the clouds. And what we're allowing you to do now, so the card, everyone's synonymous, but what we've now brought in on any Android phone is that you can actually just use your phone as a tap and go. And what you do basically on the phone is that you download the app, put in your details, and like when you're getting into a car for the first time, you have to pair your phone to the car. Once you do it once, every time you get into the car. So it's the exact same process here, is that we have a reader in store. You have your phone with the app already pre-downloaded and pre-filled in. I said downloading the app and putting in the information, your name, email, your own password. 3 things, that's all you need. Once you have that, you go over to the reader, you put it on the thing, tap it once, takes about less than 2 seconds, and it's read your phone. Every time once you've done that, you never have to do it again. All you basically have to do is you basically then, when you want to pay the next time you're up, you go up, the transaction goes through as normal, you put your phone on the reader, press a button, and within 0.6 of a second, it's happened. So I've demoed it to some people who are, there's 1 or 2 who've actually seen this, and it's so quick, and and basically once you've done it once, that's it. This is what visually comes up on your phone. So at the top, I've got 600 points. I've got 22 euros loaded on. Here's my population of the hot drinks. There's the information. Now, all of these are changeable. These are the ones just I chose. These are little coupons. You could have 1. I think you can have a maximum of 8. But as you can see, this is sort of on the smartphone, on the Samsung phone, and just about cuts off. So really, 3 is probably about the maximum that you want to have. So within the cashless payment, within the this is part of the cashless payment. You can pay with cash that you've already loaded on, but you can also pay by the points that you've already earned. So this is the sort of going towards the cashless system and going towards it all just on your phone. And this is how you do it. You basically just put your phone down, and that's on the reader. Press a button, 0.6 of a second, and your transaction's happened. I sent this in Monday, and I wanted to just get the most up-to-date figures. Albeit that this is only live 2 weeks today, we've signed up 980 people just in 1 store. Of that, 38 were of the phone, so it's not huge at the moment. The amount of money that was being preloaded, we've had 2 interesting things. That we had 1 store who had 5 employees. This was in the square in Tala, and they had done some sort of discount, or they do some sort of loyalty with their not loyalty, but they do some sort of remuneration with their staff, that they allow them a certain amount of food on a weekly basis. So what the manager did is she came down, she loaded 100 euros onto a car. a card, and then got 5 other cards, and basically you can link as many cards onto one account. And she went up to her staff and handed them each card and said, go down and use that as you want. And every week now she's coming and putting €100 onto it. And we had a pharmacy that came up to us and sort of said, can we get a card? And we said, sure, and can we load money onto it? And what they're doing is that when their customers, when there's a long prescription, they're basically giving it to the customer saying, go over to Graham O'Sullivan's, hand them in, and then when you come back, hand that card back to us and we'll give you a prescription. So that's just 2 stores within the Square and Shopping Centre who've actually come in and have actually used the card as a way of topping up and being able to give it to the customers or giving it to their staff. So we've had, again, it's small at this stage. It's only €460 that's been loaded on, but it's, you know, as I said, it's only 2 weeks old. The average spend versus a loyalty card holder versus an average store, we weren't able to get that information this morning. I'll try and getting it off them this morning. But what we did have in the first week, just over 13%, 13.6% of all our transactions in the first week were by loyalty card customers, and that's from a standing start. Last week it was 22%. So 22% of our sales, all our sales in the second week were through our loyalty card. So that to me is pretty huge, and that's just from a standing start, just from advertising within our store. What we've done today, Samsung have got on board on this too, and yesterday Samsung have 100,000 Facebook likes, and they've basically sent out a Facebook message today, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday of next week, and Thursday of next week to all 100,000 of their Facebook likes saying, Graham Sullivan are doing this, first in Europe, and we've incentivized the first 25 people down every day that they'll get a free meal if they come preloaded with the app and they sync it at store. So that's just one way of getting the message out there. So yesterday was the first message outside of our 4 walls. We haven't done any advertising whatsoever. And as I said, this was only phase 1 of what we're actually trying to do. So the next step of what we're actually planned in this sort of digital wallet is that once we've got a 3,000 set up, it's not necessarily 3,000, it's going to be probably more about from September time onwards when we get back to a normal cycle of our customers, is that we're going to start an aggressive approach of actually to try to get people to preload money onto their card, or onto their phone. What we're also then doing is that we're developing an online payment. So what we're doing here is that we've partnered up with PayPal. Again, I've approached PayPal. I showed them what I was doing, told them what I was doing. They loved what I was doing, and I sort of said, look, well, I want to bring this to the next stage. I sort of said, I want to be able to get outside our 4 walls, get outside the shopping center, and I want to put our brand, you know, onto the internet and basically sort of say, and using technology and innovation as a way of trying to sort of say to people outside of our 4 walls, look, this is what we're doing. So what we're actually doing is we're actually developing a mechanism where you can buy credit through PayPal and gift it or put it onto your own phone, onto the app. So you will be able to either have the app on your phone and be able to buy download credit via PayPal, or you will be able to gift that credit once the other person has the app on their phone. So that's what we're working on, and we're working for an October launch for that. We were actually also targeting, I talked about this too at the slide too, about targeting in actual new channels and trying to get actually income. We've actually targeted 2 specific revenue channels, and one of those I'll tell you about is that we have a college near us, the Institute of Technology in Tala, and we're going to use social media, the Facebook targeting ads, as well as the student unions, and we're going to be targeting the parents of students. And what we're going to be saying to them is that for every 4 meals that their children get within us, we're going to give them the 5th free. And we're going to be incentivizing the parents to download money onto their children's phones that can only be used in our store. So the money can't be spent on booze, and it can't be spent socializing and all the rest. It can only be spent on dinners. So the parents know that their sons or daughters are getting the meals, they're getting the discount, the kids are getting the technology, and that's what we're targeting. So that's one of the specific channels. But it could be something, you know, there's no reason, again, social welfare. Social welfare could be downloaded onto phones, and there could be sort of precluding that you can't buy alcohol or cigarettes with this. For your children's allowance could be downloaded, and you can only use it in mother care or overuse it here. You could have in pharmacies that between the HSE and prescriptions is that like you could sign up people and the HSE could load money on, and that customer could only go to you because you're giving better discounts and others. So there's a lot of scope, I feel, with this particular channel, and that's what we're trying to do, is actually try to take our brand outside our four walls and try to put it onto a bigger marketplace. We talked about cashless, and there's, I can't go into it here now, but we've actually just got sign off on this. And actually, if you can take it that there's cash and there's credit card, and now there's a loyalty that you can pay by tapping, there's another way. And we're going to launch this in end of October, and that's going to be a fourth way of actual payment, which is it's cashless and it's digital, and it's, again, we're going to be a first in Ireland, probably a first in Europe that are going to be trialing that. And we're also developing an app there's a second brand that I have, which is going to be a more younger brand, which is I'm opening next month. And we're going to put in, we're linking in loyalty, and we're linking in the new payment, the fourth payment into this. And what we're also doing is we're actually putting in a pre-order, prepay, and linked into the loyalty card. So you'll be able to, mainly this is meant from either an office where they can have the app either on their phone, their tablet, their PC, basically go on, order the platter, pay for it by one click, get their points, get a code, come down to the store, and they will be given a pickup time, or they'll be choosing a pickup time, and it'll be ready for them. And that'll be all integrated, loyalty, linking in with the payments, linking in with the app and all the rest. So I probably lashed through all of that. Sorry, that's really it. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, glad to take them.
Thanks, Felim. We've an immediate question.
I thought it was going to be you, David, asking about the fourth payment method.
Hi.
Hi.
Just well done on the presentation. Great presentation. A question about just demographics, really, and technology. One of the things that I often hear people saying is, oh yeah, we're not going to do that, we're not going to go there, it doesn't suit our demographic. The way you described it, I wouldn't want to cast any aspersions, but it sounded like your customer base was kind of more...
Oh, come here, you hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
Our customer base, for sure, would not be the normal... The uptake of smartphones probably wouldn't be the highest than it would be on a high street. That's for sure within our operation. But I didn't see that as a limiting factor. The NFC part of it was first to market, and I wanted to be first to market with the NFC. But as I said, that's only phase one. It's all linked around the loyalty scheme is the preeminent of what I'm trying to do, and I'm using technology, innovation, social media, and as I said, phase one is just within the store. But then we're going to take it online, and we're looking at then the students. And by targeting technology and innovation and a way that parents can make sure that the students are only spending money where they want them to spend money, but the students can getting, technology that no one else can use and all the rest and stuff like that. So that's how I'm sort of, this might not work, as I said, we're very early stages, but I said at the very starting point, the loyalty, I just didn't want it to be about rewarding my existing customers. I wanted to actually bring it to the next level and try to use innovation and technology to actually open up potential new revenue channels. And that's what I'm trying to do. So you're right, my existing customer base, and that's why you can see of 1,000 people that we've signed up, only 38 are actually using their phone. So it's not huge, but I would probably think of if I get to 250 out of 3,000, I think that will be right up there with my expectations.
And how's the existing demographic kind of reacting to the cards?
Oh, well, as I said, 22% of our sales last week were through our loyalty card in week 2. That to me, that's pretty huge. And I also said I did have the when we did the coupon 3 years ago. That was a good test bed. They devoured that. They ate it up. The customers really wanted it, but there was too high a margin. Now, we were doing 1 and 6. We're now doing 1 and 9. But also too is that we now have collecting data too. We're now getting the information from the customers. So now we can communicate with the customers. We can actually see, we can do push notifications. We can start saying that, like, if you haven't been here, we can push that information out. The best sellers, we can reward them. So we weren't able to have that visibility when we did the punch card. But so now we do have that.
Yeah. Felim, well done on the presentation. Just curiosity, cash flow or the actual cash amount from the readers and then also getting the app designed, ballpark, what did it add up to?
Yeah, well, I suppose I've been very lucky to some extent is that I went with a vision to Escher and I said, I've only got 4 units. I don't have, there's a very small head office. I don't have a spend. Will you develop this for me and be first to market? And they went, yeah. And then I went to Samsung. I told them what I was doing. And I said, will you help me? And they went, yeah. And then I went to PayPal and I said, small SME, this is what I'm doing. Will you help me? And they went, yeah. So I've been really, really, really lucky in that. I suppose it's been a bit tenacious and I've been gone out and I've sort of said, look, it's a way, and this is how I've pitched it. I've sort of said, I'm a small SME. We're bringing something that's first to market. Would you like to be involved with trying to, and it's good PR for them to basically sort of say, can you help me get this to first to market and to help a small SME? And everyone's been amazingly helpful. All of the development time to get to this, I've had no cost.
And sorry, just one other question. Considering your clients or your customers are very much an older demographic perhaps and would use traditional media, have you not considered maybe advertising this in a press scenario so to kind of drive?
There was there was a press release did go out and stuff like that, and I've been, I've never given, it's been 14 years since I've given a presentation standing up here in front of people. I've never done press releases before. I'm in completely uncharted territory, I suppose, of how to get our profile up and out and all the rest. So it's been kind of really, and also too is that I wanted to make sure, we're only 2 weeks into this and there's been, touch wood, there's been no flaws with it, the system has worked perfectly, and we're only now beginning to actually get the message out there that this is a brand new way of paying, and it's, as I said, it is first to market, and as I said, the Facebook thing from Samsung only went out yesterday. So there is a sort of a plan to try to get the message out there a little bit more, and yeah, that's one of the reasons, I suppose, why I'm standing up here now, I suppose.
Any questions?
Okay, well, if anyone actually wants to see it, my information's up there, and I'd be glad to have you out for a cup of coffee, and you can see the information. See how it works.
I never asked you yesterday. Yeah. The cost of the cards?
Cost of the card is 60 cent.
60 cent a card.
And the app is free.
The app is free.
The card is contactless as well. So it's, and also too, sorry, I think you mentioned one point about the readers. At the moment, there are 2 readers. So there is one for contactless for your credit cards and your debit cards, and there is one reader for the phone and our loyalty card. There is one that merges both. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get that. I wanted to launch this, and there was a bit of delay on the technology from the card reader, or from the readers people. But the next door that we're rolling out, we're actually going to have one reader that'll do it all. So there'll actually only be one reader.
Is it available on Apple?
Okay. At the moment, all Android and Windows based on your phone have NFC enabled. So everyone who has an Apple, or anyone who has a Windows smartphone or an Android smartphone, NFC is actually comes shipped, turned on. Apple have it, but haven't turned it on. So you can still download the app, and you can still see the visual format of all of the information there about your coupons and how much money. The only thing you cannot do at the moment is you can't do this touch to beam, i.e. place your phone down and press a button. What you do is that you have a card, and you use your card, but in real time, so within 2 seconds, the information that you have just used and purchased, it goes to your phone. So you can still have it on your app, but you just cannot use the touch to beam. Now, September is in San Francisco is when iPhone are having their Apple are having their big conference, and there is suggestions now that they're going to open it up. But Apple are Apple, and I don't know. But so it is restricted on the touch to beam just to Android and Windows at the moment. No, Bopsy, sorry. It's under, if you go to the Play Store, it's under Bopsy. B-O-P-Z-Y. On the iTunes as well, yes, it should be under Bopsy, B-O-P-Z-Y.
Okay, so I saw this yesterday. Felim asked me to come and see him in the square in Tallaght. Would you believe 18 years ago we were born in Tallaght, Retail Excellence Ireland, so it was great to be back in the square, the largest shopping centre in Europe at the time. And I have to say, it is incredibly innovative. I'd be slightly worried about the cards. I think consumers have a threshold of the number of cards they're willing to carry in their wallet or their purse. But certainly the phone, seeing it happen there live, the speed of it, and the data collected, the loyalty piece, we could be witnessing, because of this fella's tenacity, the creation of a new method of payment globally. So watch this space. So I would urge you to see it and go into Graham O'Sullivan's ring, give Felim a shout, he'll buy you a free cup of coffee, I swear, and have a look at it in action. It is quite incredible what's happening there. So Felim, a bit like your mum and dad, you haven't fallen far from the tree in terms of entrepreneurial spirit, so thank you so much for your time today. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.